What's going on? Saturday. You got a good one today. This is probably going to be a part 1 of 2. We're just doing the setup today for this pour we got coming up on Monday. Site where we've done a bunch of long line pours. Now we be boom pumping. They built this beautiful ramp for us, so getting in will not be a problem. The only question mark will be getting out these lock blocks they've laid on end here. You tend to get a skiff of dirt on top of them when they get really slippery, and where all the humpy bumpies are, and even these steel plates, these steel cleats, when they get wet, traction is very limited. I think I have a video here, I'll show you. I'll try and insert it if I can find it. When they were backing their dump trucks down here, back them down full, obviously drive them out empty. For them to get traction to get out, they would actually have to tilt the box up to shift the weight onto the rear tire. Amazing that it makes that much difference. Yeah, just shifting the weight back. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, just that much is making all the difference.
That's it. So for us backing out of here with the pump, I'm sure we could drive out no problem. Backing out will be a challenge. What we're actually going to do, we're not going to wash out on site. We're going to leave the hopper right full, so we've got all that extra weight on the back tires, and hope for the best. Otherwise we'll be calling a wrecker. So they built this great ramp, nicely transitioned so our hopper's not going to drag on the ground. Come down, cut slightly to the right, put on the Pro Stack curbing blocks to level up. We got about 180 yards in the slab and another 40 yards in footing. So the pump, 38-meter pump, will reach the whole slab. Couple hoses to get the footing. We're gonna have a second pump up top on pour day, little 24-meter with the boom stretched out, and about 140 feet of 3-inch hose feeding into this pump. We're gonna feed into the hopper. We'll go hopper to hopper. Reason being, if we get a delay in concrete, which is not uncommon up here because we're in a pretty rural area, at least we still have the option of recirculating. Whereas if we tied the one pump directly into the deck pipe of the other, recirculation no longer becomes an option. So we'll just play it safe here. It's only a couple hundred yards, so I'm not really too worried about the extra wear and tear on the second pump. And we are going to feed with 3-inch hose. The reason we're going to use 3-inch hose, because of the slope, and we're going to be pouring really slow, lots of starting and stopping. The 3-inch hose will actually help keep the concrete from draining out and getting a bunch of air pockets every time we got to stop and restart and whatnot. Plus we're only going to get about 30 meters an hour here, so 3-inch hose will be completely sufficient for that. Work smart, not hard. Okay, we'll drive in. You check your brakes?
Oh yeah, brake check.
Sid had a near-death experience a few weeks ago on a hill, something like this. So we've checked the brakes. We're good. Well, it's not as steep as it looks. I don't think you're going to drive the hopper into the ground. I think we'll only need one kit, 4 blocks on each side. I think we'll be pretty good as long as we get within the 3 degrees. What we're going to do, my concern is backing out of here. I don't know that we're going to get out of here. I think it's a 50-50. We'll do a test run today. The blocks are kind of dry. 4-way diff locks, interaxle lock. Once we pull down, we'll just try and back right out again, and then if we can't get out, we know for Monday to have the tow truck on standby. I'm not even kidding. I don't yeah, if you saw the dump trucks trying to drive out of here empty, it was not super promising. And when you do pull out, or when we try and get out, just keep your momentum going smooth and steady. It was when they were starting and stopping, especially when they would get onto these humps and bumps, the transitions on the blocks, they're not level, where they just start bouncing. So we'll drive you down, we'll give it a try, but for our setup, we'll just drive straight down and then just cut your front end over enough to get your driver's side outrigger out. What could go wrong?
Maybe you can videotape this all.
I'll videotape it all. Yeah, no pressure. So the only kind of poopy thing here, I was hoping to use our 39-meter because it's got a manual in it with the low first gear. It's got the Eaton Fuller 9-speed in it, or 8LL, whatever they call it. This one here, automatic, which is kind of crappier for driving down the hill. So fortunately it's got the 4-way diff locks, so that'll help us, but not the greatest for driving down the hill, and we'll see how it is for backing out. So, and I think if we can get out today,
Yeah.
then we'll have no problem on Monday, because Monday I'm going to leave the hopper full.
Yeah.
So we've got an extra, you know, 3,000 pounds of weight hanging over the back axle. So
Okay.
we'll find out pretty quick here. I think the worst part is right on the corner here, where the blocks are really kind of like whoop-de-doos,
Yeah.
as they call it in dirt biking, whoop-de-doos. So we'll see.
Yeah, and he's really got to hug this corner to make this, like that edge to make this corner
Okay.
nice.
And he's just building his air pressure up to max. It's crappy. I wanted to bring the other pump that had the manual transmission in it.
Oh yeah.
But it's our pump with the high-rise kit, so it's out on a high-rise on Monday. So
Oh, I see. But it'd be better for the driveway.
it'd be better for coming down. I don't know if for coming back out, the automatic actually might even be better, because it'll be more smooth, maybe.
I see, but on the way down you can ride the gear.
Yeah, you can ride the gear, where this one you gotta, not only riding the brakes, but you've got the engine pushing you. Which actually I'm gonna tell them to put it in neutral. Or you're just gonna come down to neutral, right?
Up in one.
I would go neutral, because one is just pushing you forward, right? You're better in neutral, because with the automatic, it's if you're in gear, you're fighting that as well as the weight of the truck, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What are these things, right?
It's funny because this is the 6-speed Allison. The 7-speeds do have a low first gear, but I remember talking to some of the ready mix drivers that only have the 6-speed. When they would back down a grade like this, they would actually leave it in first gear to slow the truck down. Apparently it just cooks the transmission fluid in a hurry, but that was the technique they used. But we're gonna bring her down to neutral. You know what, this actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty confident with getting this thing out of here. It's actually not bad at all. It looks fine coming down, obviously, but better than I thought. Just hang out and build your air pressure up. Yeah, I think we'll get level before this back end touches down. Putzmeister actually has, and I have got the documentation for, they have an update for trimming this extra couple inches of skirt off of here to gain ground clearance. It's something we should really do on this pump. You know, we have a Putzmeister document for trimming that down.
I know.
We should do it. Yeah, it actually takes about 3 inches off. We should actually do that one day. The only problem is you take that off, and the next thing is the step. Now you'll probably just rip your step off. But
Step is so tough though.
yeah, they do. That's true. They do. Or you could even shorten the step a bit, take an inch off it, and bring it up. And then you probably just catch the outrigger foot, and it would just be the next thing, and so on and so forth. Okay, moment of truth. So put your lockers on, and the inner axle lock. Beauty. Okay. Best option we ever outfitted this thing with. We've had pumps before where we only had the interaxle lock or not even, and absolutely terrible for trying to get it out of tough spots. But with the 4-ways, it makes such a difference. So my worry is when we get to this area, he's going to start to bounce. We'll see. That spot there is a bit tough because of the bump. We'll see how the tires do. The other bad spot is going to be right here. That's my biggest concern. When we get into this stuff here, hopefully there's enough traction on the concrete side to get us through it. I think we're good now though, but we'll see. Look at that. We're good. Yes, that's a win. The only thing I overlooked there, what we should have done, we should have drained the water box out before we went down because we had all that greasy, oily water spilling on the blocks. Fortunately, ahead of the drive axles, so. Well, I'm excited that it worked. I'm a little disappointed that I'm not getting the content I was hoping for. It didn't even spin. Just a little chirp or something. It was boring. Oh man, I'm gonna be editing this. Yeah, I know that was like excellent. So your crane is gonna sit as outriggers right on the pad?
Yeah. On the 6x6 pad that we're gonna put on top of these.
Oh, so he's gonna cut right in and land right on these.
Yeah, he's gonna be sitting here. There.
Yeah, they're going to bring a big crane truck in here a few times too. And what is that going to be, like a twin drive, twin steer? Kind of like...
yeah, so if they bring the big one in, we can get 115 feet of reach, which will get us out to the footage out there.
What's the weight load or limit of that reach? Like 3,000 pounds or something?
3,500.
Okay.
And that would be with counterweights, so the whole unit would be about 80,000 pounds.
Okay.
Big crane.
Well, we got in and out, which is good. It's a good first start. Okay. I think just nose up as much as we can, close to the blocks, and we'll throw the blocks down, or the pro stat.
Hey, can I get a little bit more buffer?
Yeah, I'll give you 6 inches. And we'll stuff a couple blocks behind that rear axle. As always when setting up on a hill. Oh yeah, we got all our hoses strapped up. Whoops. How strong am I today? Oh, barely strong enough. Obviously we're going to short rig on this back one here, which doesn't really matter because we're not booming off this side or anywhere even close to it. So on the back we'll just use the squares.
Back?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, how should we level this up? Do you want to grab one of the black pads? We'll put it under to get it level. The black Leica pads, just to level this up. Want to get that nice and level before we put our Pro Stack blocks on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move some dirt. All right, so we used some dirt there. We got our pads nice and level. So we used some dirt there, got our pads nice and level. Throw in the base pad for the Pro Stack. And they lock in right into those, right into the slots here, like so. And usually what I would do here is lift the back leg of the pump to get this side up high enough to get all 4 blocks underneath there. But because of the way the grade drops away here, I think we'll just swing the back leg in a couple feet and lift it that way. The further out the leg is, the more effective it is at holding that front side of the pump up. But as long as we get to around here, we should be in good shape. So what I like about the X frame, where the rear outriggers tie into the subframe. Older pumps where they just telescope out. If you try and hold the side of the truck up with the back leg, the frame just kind of twists and it doesn't really have the same effect. They say just take it in about 3 feet and we'll... Yeah, that should be good. Just need to get her high enough to get another 2 blocks. The most I've ever used is 6 blocks, so 3 levels. At 3 levels, typically the hopper is basically pinned right into the ground. So on this pump we keep 2 full kits. Each kit comes with 4 blocks, so that's enough for 90% of the situations we ever see. And we see some pretty nasty stuff on the regular. But yeah, that's the one thing with the Pro Stack. It's got to be level, and you can't have any gaps under that base pad. If you got any gaps or voids, it compromises the structural integrity of the system, as I've been told. So you got it's nice when we can move the fill around like this and get it perfect. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this pad ahead a little bit, because as we lift the pump up, it's going to travel forward a little touch. So we'll start with the foot towards the back of the stack, and by the time we level up and it slides out a bit or slides forward, we should be bang on. swing that leg out, and then we're going to repeat the process on the same side. I'll swing it out. Good. This one might be a little bit more difficult because we can't get the leg out as far as I would like. But your best bet is lift with the front, then plant the back and bring the front back up to hold it, rather than just trying to lift it all in one shot with the back leg. If you do that, sometimes it'll lift the whole truck up and it can slide ahead a few inches. But yeah, we could have finagled the pump over and put it right on the concrete blocks. But this ground here is prepped, compact. I'm not really super concerned. I like where we're positioned here, and our angle is not too bad, so we're not going to mess with it. If you ever grab one of these kits, make sure you get the optional handles. It helps so much. They're kind of a little bit of a pain to handle without the rubber handles, trying to pack them from here. Rubber handle option, highly advisable. And then the grip pad on top. And when we level this thing up, we're going to go side to side to side. We don't just crank it all from one side and then jump to the other. We go incrementally. It's just easier on the pump frame. Lessens the chances of the pump skipping forward. Yeah, we're nowhere close yet. I'll go back there when the time comes. Now Sid will go to the other side a little bit. You got lots of room at the back. And we'll go back to the other side. I'll go to the back and watch for you. Yeah, we're getting pretty close. Come up a little bit. Good. And then do the other side a little bit more. Just the tiniest bit. Good. Yeah. And as we stretch out, that weight's going to shift forward a little bit. So we'll be in good shape. I'll try and post that a couple screenshots of that Putzmeister update for trimming that bit off the hopper. Because that's definitely something that we gotta explore doing with this thing. If we take another 3 inches off of that and we flip the step up, well, now we can bring that front end up another foot higher in the air. So we might throw a little something under this to level it. We got some plywood here. Just a couple of those, I think, just to shim it. It's not super critical, that leg. It's not really holding any weight, so we got a bunch of nice shimming material here. I'm happy with that. They said this ground is rock hard. You'd probably bend a nail on it if you tried to hammer it through. Beautiful. Now that the back legs are pinned, let's crank the front as high as it'll go. Start with the driver's side, I think. That's the low point. Try and get her as level as possible here. All right, we'll put a little, actually that puts us right on. Okay. Hey Sid, drop this one a bit. Okay, now lift it back up. Okay, crank on the front just a little bit. What I'm gonna do here, I just wanna make sure that the front is nice and tight in that outrigger box. So lift the front just a little bit. Just a hair. See how it was loose? There we go, perfect. So the thing with the X-frame, the back outriggers can actually hold the pump up to the point where the fronts are loose in the box. Then when you stretch out, it's gonna settle down a couple inches. So now we're tight on all four corners. It's a little bit of a back and forth, side to side, yada, yada, yada. So we are just barely touching down on the ground. Maybe what I'll do, let's lift the back legs just a hair, all four of them, or both of them, I should say, all two of them rather. We'll just pick that out of the ground a little bit. Perfect. And do the other side. We'll do the other side a little bit, and then we're set. Just the tiniest bit. Good. Just like that, we are set up. So here's something that's really exciting, is that Dyka has a pad coming out, and it's a circular pad cut like two pie shapes, and you rotate them on top of one another, and you can level fore and aft, left to right, so that we don't have to mess around with the grading and everything else to get our stack level. I'm going to insert a clip of that pad right now.
So with this is set up to do 10-degree angle, so you can see we're blocked up here.
Up to 10 degrees.
10 degrees. You rotate it, and it changes.
Oh my god. So is this actually fixed together?
This has a pin that floats in there, and it holds it together just for you to turn it, but it doesn't need it when you level it. So that'll take the full weight of your concrete pumper. You put a level in the middle, turn it till you want to get it level, and then you just turn that, and you can see where the level is. So right there, we're dead level.
To my understanding, it's not on the market yet, but they're talking, I believe, early 2024. I want to be the first guy to have that pad. We used to use wedges, but to try and get the wedges fully under the pad and not have any gaps and have the pad exactly level where you want, you would have needed to have an assortment of about 8 different angles of wedges, so it just didn't really work out. So we're going to unfold here. We'll do a little test run, stretch her out, see how the pump behaves, see if we need to make any adjustments on the outrigger. So can we go higher? How's that?
Oh,
see the ladder? Yeah, that's about the highest one we've done there.
wow.
So I think by the time we stretch out, we're going to be like bang on corner to corner. And then we'll need probably like 2 or 3 hoses to get the footings.
Yeah, the footings,
All right, so we're stretched out here. And Sid's just going to make an adjustment. This back outrigger. I didn't get there in time. The back foot had lifted up like a ½ inch, so we tighten that back up. Now we're good. We're just going to see if we actually reach here, which I think we do. Oh yeah, we'll reach beyond the slab. Just past, probably 1 hose, maybe hose and a half to get the footings. Perfecto. How come the crane guys get their own pads and we have to bring our own? Yeah, no, I know where we fall in the pecking order. Wow, this is, look at this.
No, you can use this one next time if you want.
I won't complain. You built a ramp for us and it actually worked, so you're doing far better than most. We'll say that. Yeah, this will be a good pour. So Sid's just gonna fold her up. He and I are gonna string the hose out from the hopper to where we think our little 24 meter is gonna reach on Monday morning when it rolls in. And yeah, then we'll get on out of here. Why is it that now every time I add or remove a hose, in my head I'm playing Jeff from Muddy Feet's little jingle of take a hose off Annie? I won't try and sing. I don't nearly have the voice that Jeff does, but man, oh man, it's something that is grained in my brain now. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. I actually do. Breaks up the monotony of the day.
Looks good for the 24, right?
Yeah, I would say about there. Yeah. Yeah, this actually isn't going to be much hose at all, because we are going to take our little 24 meter Mighty Mouse and we will probably nose it in about here somewhere. Boom, flat out, which ain't saying much with that thing, and connect up there. We'll try and get our hopper about here. I'm thinking one mixer on this side. No, two on this side. So yeah, we'll keep the hopper over here. Nose the pump in, two mixers. Yeah. That's what we'll do. Like I said, we're using the 3-inch on this. We're not pumping super fast. It's going to help keep the concrete from running ahead and getting air pockets every time we got to start and stop. And if it were a big yardage commercial pour, yes, we'd run 5-inch hard line. And we would tie right into the back of the pump. But like I said, I'm almost certain we're gonna have some breaks in the day. And now that we're transitioning into summer, the mud is hot. The mud always seems to be hot as you get that transition from spring to summer, as the drivers and everybody adapt to it hydrating faster and whatnot. So we'll play the safe card here. Yeah, I think it would have been silly to tie into the back end, because if we get a break and we got a cycle or something, we're basically screwed, right? So, or you could just boom back and put another 100 feet of hose on and go right back into the hopper of the 24. Or that. The adjustables are way better because you can clamp them on loose and then tighten the threads down, reclamp it. Yeah. Brand new clamps suck. But yeah, the adjustables, you can back it off, tighten it down once, loosen it off, crank it down a few threads, tighten it again. These will break in and be nice eventually, but brand new is not a treat. So we've got like a little 32.5 degree elbow we're gonna put on this hose, and then we'll strap it. We'll ratchet strap it to the grate. We'll put the pin in the grate so the hose doesn't want to pull back on it and lift it up. I don't think it will anyhow, but
This is a tool bag, right?
yeah. Yeah, by the time it fills up, then we'll ratchet it off to the handles there. Beauty. Okay. I like it. Now we'll put a strap. I'll go from that clamp to the pole to pull it tight so it can't move forward or after the hopper, and then we're good.
That one right there, I want to go on that.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's what we'll do. So what I did here, I tied the secondary knot to hook up the ratchet strap. Sid did it. I was dumb. I couldn't figure it out. Sid had a good idea. I also did that, which I'm thinking, oh, he's shaking his head at me. Maybe that was dumb too. What do they call somebody that's good at knots? A knotsman? No. Boy Scout? I don't know. There's a name for it. Somebody who specializes in knots or is well versed in knots. You look huge when you do that. There's the thumbnail right there, man. My 3 top videos, Sid's the thumbnail. No coincidence. All right. Good. So maybe we'll tie off once more at that tree and call it a day. All right, so just like that, we are all set up. Got our line in place. Got the rubber tire here so that when we bring our little 24-meter boom in, we can lay the tapers out. Put the tip elbow right on the rubber tire so we got a bit of a buffer. I always like having the tapers laid flat out when doing line work, just so the hose isn't wanting to pull itself back or forward while pumping. Got it roped off in a couple spots here. Everything tied up at the hopper, ready to go. And this should be relatively uneventful come Monday. We'll just prime out with some bentonite in the 24-meter, a little bit in the hose, prime into the hopper, bucket of bentonite in the prime port on this thing. Right on through, away we go. Anyhow, check in. Probably gonna air this video on Wednesday, part 1, and the actual pour I will air Saturday. So stay tuned. Saturday morning, part 2. We will actually pour some concrete, which I don't think is going to be nearly as eventful as the actual setup was here. So, but we'll do it anyhow, just because. Anyhow, you know, guys, like, share, subscribe, ×3, over and out. We forgot something. Shameless plug. There, this setup is now complete. Bumper cutty.